Hey people, how's it going? Today we are at TantrumCon 2023 and we've been looking around in the hallway where they're showing off some interesting games. And this is License to Krill. I saw it and I wanted to learn more about it. And actually we're going to learn a quick how-to plays. So let's get into it.
Hello, I'm so excited to show you License to Krill. It's a game about krill, whales, and trying to get the most points. So let me give you a quick rundown. Here we have a tableau or river of cards, choices of cards you get to select during the game. You can see that the game is heavy on puns, obviously with the name License to Krill. Here at the top we have each the victory points, and the most victory points wins. So the players are drafting these on their turn. Maybe they think this is a good card, maybe they think this is a good card. An interesting thing about the game is that the card is coupled with an action below it, and as the river flows down, these cards may move to the right towards the discard pile. If I select this card because I like it, maybe it's a 1-point card, maybe it also gives me an action because it has a shark on it, but now I must do the orange action beneath. This card here has no shark on it, so it has no action, but it does have a nice victory point condition that says it's a combo. You end up with a second card. Together they are much more valuable than they would normally be. So there's junk floating around in the ocean and he gets to clean it up. These cards get to determine what the whale does. The whale does things like sleep, slap his tail, poke his head up, but the one you really only need to be concerned with is the bad one, which is the krilling time. The krilling time is the card that causes the whale to eat some cards. The card is best flipped when the whale is furthest away from your player board and perhaps it's someone else's problem. These cards constitute the bottom of the deck. They get shuffled, then they get put in the center of the board. A few more cards get put on top of them with more actions like eating and sleeping, which is called logging. They're shuffled. You'll see that the back changes to indicate that the game is going to end soon with the last 5 cards. The deck is built, depending on the player count, more cards for more players. Sets the game to about a 5 to 6 minute per player playtime. Then when you go through the deck, you know about the odds of the cards because there's one of the bad cards and then +1 per player. So a typical turn might look like this. I select a card that I think looks good for me. Maybe this one looks good for me. Then I put it on my player board. So here's a little player board. Maybe I put it on the left, on the right, or in the middle. So in this case, I'll just put it over here. Then I take the action. It says look at and reorder the top 3 whale cards. Now I get to know what happens in the game, and I have to keep in mind that I flipped the top one. Then I return those back. Now I do the orange action, which is to flip the top whale card. Here's the krilling time. So it could be at this moment that the whale is sitting between the other players, and he would also nip one of the cards that is closest. So there's a little bit of a give and take with a hot potato. The whale moves around. The whale chooses which card by the players when they draft a card at the end of their turn from the whale pile. And he always eats the closest card. So just to illustrate that, if this guy has 2 cards on this side and this guy has 1 card on this side, 1 to 2, so this is the closest card. This is the one that goes into the belly of the whale and into the discard pile. This is the junk that combos with the ecological, so if this player had the junk, then they would also be very eager to grab this card because together they make that combo score. The game's pretty quick, the turns. The river repopulates. You have an idea which card you're going for. These move the whale closer or away from other players, and you can see on the player board that they have matching symbols, and that way you can keep track. If I draft on the rock side this card, then the whale is going to move in a rock direction because here's another player board on the opposite side, and now he moves over here. Now it's these players' turns. The turns are pretty quick, like I said. As you flip the cards, the game starts advancing. It can be a little bit of a drought where you don't get any of the eat cards, and then you know it's going to be a pretty high chance, and then sometimes it's pretty evenly distributed. At the end of the game, when the whale is done and swims away because he's done with his eating time and he goes back to his mating grounds, the players will look at their player board and they will count how many points. So this player, for example, would have 2 points, and this player would have to look at the total number of sardines. Maybe they have a few more to go with it. They have a few more to go with it, and then this card powers up the more they have. And then in a nutshell, that's License to Krill.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time and showing us License to Krill. Do you have an estimated time where this game will be coming out for public, or is it just a game you're showing off right now at TantrumCon?
Yeah, so I've got a publisher looking at it right now, and depending on how that goes, maybe I go with it. And also another option is a Kickstarter, probably somewhere around the July-August timeframe. So looking to get it out there. And the website is krillgame.com. If anyone was interested, then I would let them know what was happening with it.
Awesome. We'll definitely put that link in the description of this video, so be looking out for that. Again, this is Licensed to Krill over here at TantrumCon 2023, where we're going to keep looking around at all the amazing games and titles at TantrumCon and also be playing games. So yeah, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Thanks so much.